Am I the asshole for not wanting a stay-at-home husband? Apologies for mobile formatting. I wasn't sure if I should post here or our relationship advice, so here it goes. My husband and I have been together for 8 years and married for 4. For the first half of our relationship, he has made more money than I was, so he would cover a majority of the MISC expenses and activities. We both have maintained full-time jobs during our time together. On average, my husband would move to a new company every 6 months or so. The longest duration of employment at a single employer was a little over a year. I've never worried about his ability to maintain a job or cover his portion of our financial obligations. In fact, he has been able to increase his wages almost every time he transitioned to a new place. At the end of 2019, I left my 5-year position for something completely different, and it's been great. I have learned so much, developed professionally, and even doubled what I used to make. As of right now, I make more than my husband, which has allowed me to be able to regularly contribute to a savings fund, go out for social activities regularly, and generally not live paycheck to paycheck. Historically speaking, neither of us have found a profession that we would consider career-worthy. I am finally in a position where I can go down many different routes, and I am very excited for what the future holds. My husband, however, has always developed a distaste for every employer, job he's had. Generally it's been in the same field, but he's never really tried something net new. As of last week, my husband admitted to me that he can no longer stand living where we do. He is sick of where he works, and he's tired of working to live and living to work. He wants to get rid of all of his financial obligations and have a mental reset. Historically speaking, he has been made wise financial decisions in the past. He has gotten several cars and traded them into a point where we are upside down on both of our car loans. He's gotten tattoos instead of paying credit card bills, and borrowed money from his parents that I am not sure he's paid back. I've always known he's been unhappy with his current point in life, but I never really admitted to what extent. There have been times that I have told him he's tough to be around because of his negative outlook on things, and I admit to not always been the most supportive wife. In order to carry out the plan to release himself from his financial obligations, he wants to file bankruptcy and move out of the city we live in. I don't want to lose the excellent credit score I've worked to get, so he would refinance his truck to his name. I don't want to move away from my friends or be in a position to work remotely, as I don't like working from home. So we have discussed finding a new place to live in our current city that I can afford on my own. I told him I will support him taking time off to reset and figure out what makes him happy. However, he is really stuck on the idea of being a stay-at-home husband. We do not have any kids, nor do we want them. We only have ourselves and 2 dogs to support. I told him I do not make enough money to comfortably support both of us and the lifestyle I have come to enjoy. He is upset, saying the only way I want to be with him is if he pays for half the bills. I said he has put me in an impossible position of either accepting his decisions or risking our relationship. I also don't want to give him an ultimatum of finding a new place to work after X months, and generally admit I will resent him for not working. I love him, I don't want to separate, but it seems we are on 2 different paths and have extremely different viewpoints on this. Open to advice. Not sure if I should look for a therapist or counselor or not. Am I the asshole for not wanting to support my husband for an unknown amount of time while he figures out what to do with his life? He did say he would do this with or without my support. Too long did not read. Husband wants to file bankruptcy and reset his life. He wants me to be okay with it, and be prepared to financially support us. I don't want to give up the lifestyle we have created, and I sound like a money-hungry person for not supporting this forever. Edit number 1. I forgot to mention that part of the plan is for us to divorce once his truck is in his name, so it doesn't affect my credit. On paper we would divorce but doesn't want to separate. This raises red flags, not so much of the wanting to quit and start over again but the bankruptcy. The fact that he has a history of bad financial decisions, the frequent job hopping. And that he wants to do it now that you are settled and happy and growing. Maybe you have just outgrown each other and divorce is the answer? Not the asshole, he's obviously just wanting to mooch indefinitely. This isn't a burnout situation where a sabbatical might help. He is going to torpedo your life. Not the asshole. A stay-at-home husband with no kids is absolutely hysterical. It's called lazy MF. Resetting your life by moving is a terrible idea. Moving can also be expensive, and as it turns out, wherever you go, there you are. You need to absolutely make the ultimatum and protect what you have worked for and keep the general momentum of a new job or any job going, or he will never get off the couch. Not the asshole. But what age range are you two in? How long has he been working that he needs to take such drastic measures? It sounds like he has a commitment issue. Not the asshole sounds like he wants a new life. There are some crazy red flags here. If he were to divorce you after you support the family, you may be on the hook for alimony. The edit where he's talking divorce. WTF? Is he having some sort of midlife crisis? I'm thinking therapy first and foremost, but maybe this relationship is on its way out. Sorry. Not the asshole. This all sounds very outlandish, to be honest, and financially it doesn't seem to match up, but based on what you've described it sounds like he'll never be happy with whatever he tries, and being a som dad will only last him for 6 months before he wants to do something else. It's pretty extreme to file for bankruptcy. What kind of debt are you guys in? Not the asshole. Changing jobs every 6 months? Looking at resumes, I don't hire people who have a history of job hopping. He claims he will do this without you. But what funds would he live off of? I could understand a brief hiatus in between jobs, but he wants to mooch off of you, and I fear he'd never go back to work. Maybe he needs to find a career that excites him and could spend some of that time off pursuing his education to be in a better position for a career path in a job that excites him. You don't sound money hungry. It's a bit absurd for him to expect to not work and declare bankruptcy, a decision that has ramifications for a long time. Not the asshole. What does he plan to do while he's being a stay-at-home husband? If he needs a break because of mental health issues, that's fine. A doctor can sign him off sick for a few weeks, months. But to leave his job, file for bankruptcy, and move away sounds very extreme. It almost sounds like he's forcing you to be the one to end the marriage. Side note: if you're doing well financially and you're married, would he even qualify for bankruptcy? I have no idea of the rules, laws. Adults have to work to have money to support themselves. It sounds like he just doesn't enjoy being an adult. I don't like saying this, but it sounds like you'd be better off divorcing you and he have very different plans, goals, etc., and he's going to drag you down. Am I the asshole for asking my sister what she expected? On mobile, pardon mistakes please. My sister Sia, 25, used to have a friend Faye, 24, female. Faye had a boyfriend named Brett, 25. Brett cheated on Faye with Sia, then left her for Sia. Faye was devastated and it really tore their friend group apart. Faye went on to transfer to an out-of-state college and from what I know, has not been back since. This was about 4 years ago. Now Sia and Brett are recently married, about 2 months, and that's where the issue comes in. Sia figured out how to get a hold of Faye and decided to invite her to the wedding. She said that her and Brett both missed Faye, as they had all been part of the same friend group through high school. She felt like this was her last chance to try and bring Faye back into her life. I, 19, female, told her from the get-go that I thought that was a bad idea and that she should just leave Faye alone. She sent the invitation anyways but got no response. It's relevant to mention that Sia and Brett could only afford a pretty modest wedding. They held it on his parents' property. It was catered by a very basic, cheap local restaurant. Everything else was done by family and friends. The dress code was casual, which was mentioned on the invite, as Sia couldn't afford a very nice wedding gown. Shortly after the ceremony started, Faye walked in and quietly took a seat. To be frank, she looked amazing. She was in a lovely dress. It was a darker color and didn't look like a wedding dress, but was of noticeably better quality than Sia's dress. She's super tatted now. Tattoos are popular around here and are something Sia and Brett both like. ETA. These aren't exactly either of the dresses, but they're both awfully close Sia's. She also had a tiara veil and some jewelry on Faye's. Where this dress has the tan underlayer, Faye's was a slightly lighter blue than the rest of the dress. Other than that, this dress is super close. After the ceremony, Faye stayed for about half an hour talking to other guests, then left. I guess Sia tried to say hi to her and she straight up snubbed her. It created quite a stir. How good she looked was a hot topic. Rather the comments were positive or people saying it was trashy she showed up like that. Quite a few of Sia and Brett's newer friends found out the circumstances of their coming together. Sia was pretty tore up about it in the first place, but once she went through the pictures she was heartbroken. Faye made it into a few and because she was dressed so much nicer than everyone else she really stood out. There's a picture of Sia and Brett where they look really nice together but Faye is in the background. Sia says it would be her favorite picture. She has brought Faye up every time I've seen her since. Sia came over for a visit this weekend and started talking about Faye again. What a bitch she was. Why couldn't she just not come? Who needs to ruin someone's wedding? It got to me, so I asked, what did you expect? You slept with her boyfriend before he decided to leave her for you. You haven't spoken in years and out of nowhere you send her a wedding invite? Who could pass up that opportunity for pretty revenge? ETA. This might be a pointless edit, but I don't think Sia's goal was to rub anything in Faye's face. From what I understand, Sia basically just never talked to Faye again after everything went down. I think this was a weird, convoluted attempt for Sia to ease some guilt. I think she thought that Faye just wouldn't respond, so she would be able to feel like she extended an olive branch and was ignored, therefore having done everything she could. It made Sia cry and she ended up leaving shortly after. Edit. I'm signing off, guys. I appreciate all the comments, but it seems pretty unanimous at this point and this is blowing up my phone. Good night everyone. NTA. I don't know what else you could have said. She's an idiot. I don't know what else she possibly could have expected. Not the asshole because you warned her ahead of time it was a bad idea, and honestly, who invites their BF's ex, who he cheated on and left for you, to their wedding? If Sia wanted to reconcile with Faye, she should have chosen literally any other way to reach out. I'm sure Faye thought Sia was being petty by sending the invite, and decided to respond in kind. Besides, she, Faye, could have behaved much worse if she wanted to. Not the asshole. I'm Team Faye all the way. Not the asshole. Is what you said a little mean? Yes. Did your sister deserve to get called out? Absolutely. They have a lot of nerve inviting her to their wedding after what they did, and I can't help but think maybe your sister wanted to rub it in her face and because it didn't work out that way, she was pissed. Not the asshole. The truth hurts. What did she expect was going to happen when Faye arrived? Was she hoping to rub her wedding in Faye's face or something only to be upset that it backfired? Faye dodged a serious bullet in a shitty boyfriend and friend. Your sister is choosing to focus on the friend she betrayed instead of focusing on her new husband and her new marriage that has a foundation on cheating and betraying someone who was once close to them. I give this marriage a few years before one of them finds a new shiny toy to drool over as cheaters tend to do. Not the asshole. What did she honestly think would happen? And in what universe did she think inviting Faye to the wedding would be a good idea? Your sister destroyed a relationship and a friendship all at once. She ended up marrying the guy she cheated with. It was cruel to rub Faye's nose in it to invite her to the wedding, to remind her ultimately that she won the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if this marriage ends due to Brett cheating on your sister, as he has got a reputation now. OMG, not the asshole. She does something horrible then plays the victim. You simply stated the truth. It was very much warranted in this case because she needed a reality check. Not the asshole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Am I the asshole for being frustrated with husband taking over an hour to get home? Tonight, at 5:30 p.m. I went to the gym, husband went to practice. 8 o'clock, I get home and realized I couldn't get into the house because the deadbolt and door were locked and husband has the garage door opener. I call my husband to tell him I'm locked out and ask if he can think of any other way to get into the house. He offers to come home, but I told him, finish practice, I'll grab dinner for myself. Please just be home at a reasonable time. He promises he won't be late. He mentioned earlier he would be home at 9 o'clock, so that was the expectation. I get dinner and chill listening to a podcast in my driveway. I get a text at 8:58 saying, I just left. Perfect, it's about a 20-minute drive so we're still golden. 9:48 I text asking, are you okay? I check the Find My Friends app and it appears he is still in the neighborhood his friend lives in. He finally rolls up at 10:13. I didn't yell or start bitching. I just said, I thought you said you left at 9 o'clock? Here's where it gets weird. He says, I did. Friend's house is just really far away. I laughed and said, dude. Don't lie about it. I know you left later because I checked at 9:45 and you hadn't left. His reply way, it was just a few minutes, you're timing me down to the minute? Who cares if I left a few minutes later? He has never been so irrational or obtuse. I just stood there with my mouth open then reminded him, it's not like I have been sitting there with a stopwatch. I was literally in an inconvenient situation and he had reassured me that he would be home by 9 o'clock, an extra hour without a call or text is bullshit. He turned into a child saying, I'll just stop playing music. Texting, friend, to tell him it's all over. I told him to get a grip and stop manipulating me. I wasn't angry or snotty, I was worried. I feel that allowing him to finish his session instead of running home to rescue me was a pretty chill move, and he's disrespecting my time and feelings by trying to minimize the fact that he did something shitty and try to gaslight me into believing that I'm overbearing. It's important to note that during his entire immature display, I was shocked. I did not raise my voice or name-call. I was basically in awe because he has never talked to me like this or acted this way. He walked away, then came back a few minutes later saying, "Sorry. I don't want to go to bed mad." I said I do not accept that apology because he is not considering my feelings or acknowledging his problematic behavior. He sulked off and I've been hanging out on the couch because I can't sleep. Am I the asshole? TLDR. I locked myself out of the house but told my husband to finish what he was doing instead of rushing home. He texted to say he was leaving, 8 at 20 minutes, and showed up 1 hour and 10 minutes late. He says I'm being overbearing. Am I the asshole? Edit. Typo. Info. Why don't you have a key? We rarely lock the lock and rely on the keypad for the deadbolt and the garage door to go in and out. I got a new car about 3 weeks ago and hadn't added the door key because of how rare it would be to need it. Well, a rare occasion occurred. Info. What's a reasonable time? He had said he would be home at 9 o'clock when he left. I said, reasonable time, because I wanted to convey I wasn't going to be counting on him showing up at 9 o'clock on the dot, but to please be reasonable and remember I'm sitting in the fucking driveway. In an inconvenient situation, you were very patient and understanding. You offered to sit in your car and wait in your driveway, with the understanding that he'd be back by 9. Not the asshole. What he did was inconsiderate, and he broke his word. Then he straight lied to your face about it. You say he doesn't normally act like this. I hope that's true. But get a deadbolt key ASAP. Not the asshole, and the lie about the friend's place being far as sketchy. I'm not usually one to jump to conclusions, but this is really suspicious. Not the asshole. Your husband is acting like a guilty teenager caught in a lie. Info. Have you told him he's acting like he has something to hide that he's doing over at his friend's house because he's acting like he's cheating or doing drugs over there, to be honest? If he realizes how his outright lying to you and disrespect towards you are making him look like a cheater, he may take a step back like, whoa, okay, time to knock this off, and just admit I lost track of time after sending the OMW text. Not the asshole. I'd be pissed. Gaslighting and lying isn't okay in any circumstance. If he planned to stay longer he should have texted. Not the asshole. He said he left at 8:58 and then took over an hour. I don't understand why he lies and then lied again when he said you. Seems really weird to me. You were in a tight spot and he really should have said, sorry lads, I've gotta shoot at 9 as the wife's locked out. Get yourself a garage opener so you're not stuck again, as he obviously can't be relied upon. Also, he tried to double down saying the band I'd over. Don't talk him out of it. Let him leave the band and see if he will double down on that. He's trying to gaslight you in a way for sympathy and for you to apologize. I am probably just untrusting and skeptical after being with a cheater, but mood swings, gaslighting, and blatant living are suspicious behaviors. Am I the asshole for cutting a family member off from a trust fund? Obligatory, throwaway so people don't find my real account and I'm on mobile. 2 years ago I won a considerable sum in the lottery. Not a scratch-off, the real lottery, to the tune of many millions of dollars. My state does not allow anonymity and I have many relatives who are less than financially responsible. I knew if I didn't do something I'd spend the rest of my life being badgered. So I set up a trust for my extended family with a good chunk. How it works is if family has an emergency, they call the trustee and ask for funds and they assess the need and gives them the money if it meets the terms set in the trust. It's to be used in situations like someone being behind in bills, medical debt, unexpected car repairs, etc. It's to help them get through tough times or major life events, not for vacations or luxury purchases. One of my cousins, let's call him Dale, applied for $75,000 for a brand new loaded pickup truck. He was denied. This was neither an emergency nor was it necessary as he had a perfectly fine vehicle. They offered $5,000 to help with down payment and taxes and he accepted and bought the truck. This was 6 months ago. The trustee brought to my attention today that Dale has never made a payment of his own for the truck. He waits 2 months until he's behind, and then applies for help. The first 2 times they gave him the benefit of the doubt, but now that it's happened a third, they're rightfully suspicious. I told them to advise Dale that he can no longer get assistance for his truck payment and to get him some information on how to return it if he cannot afford it, and that we would help, within reason, get him a much cheaper vehicle that he could afford. Well, this morning his sister, Jessie, sent me a screenshot of a post he made on Facebook basically bashing me, calling me a selfish prick, and ending with stating he can't wait until I die so he can inherit millions. Not sure why he thinks that. Most of the money will go to my parents and then the trust, along with a few charities, and dance on my grave. I have decided to revoke Dale's access to the trust completely. I don't feel comfortable subsidizing the lifestyle of someone who is actively hoping for my death. Jessie feels bad now for sharing the post and is asking me to reconsider. Dale is fuming, and my aunt has said some choice words leading me to wonder if I'm in awe. Dale's father agrees with my decision, but many of our family is split. What do you think? Edit. Thank you all for your words. I know it's hard to understand why I even set up the trust to begin with, but I grew up an only child, so I've been extremely close with my cousins and consider their children my nieces, nephews, and them to be the closest thing I've had to brothers and sisters, so I don't want to see them struggle in life if I know I can prevent it without setting myself on fire. But I also am not the most objective person when it comes to them, so I created the trust and appointed a trustee to make the hard level-headed decisions. Dale is the first one to even attempt to take advantage. The others have requested funds during the pandemic to help with necessities like mortgage payments and food, and so far 2 of my nieces were given some money to help with school. The fact that he tried scamming and taking advantage of something meant to help the whole family hurt worse than the Facebook post, honestly. Not the asshole. Op must really love his extended family members and are close to them, because if I won the lottery. Chili, no, game is strong. I have no problem telling people, no. Not the asshole, it's your money and you were generous enough to put some in a trust for family. He took advantage and you cut him off. He's the total asshole thinking you would buy him a $75,000 truck. Cut him off for sure. Edited to add. He's technically stealing from your family. Everyone in the trust who may really need that money in the future. You are being super generous, especially including cousins, etc. Honestly, revise your will so that your parents get X and the rest goes where you want it, so that Dale and his family can't pressure your parents into giving them more money after you pass. Side note. Make sure Dale knows he is not in your will so he will stop wishing bad karma on you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's time to revise the terms of the trust. It's for medical expenses or education or a one-time special circumstances amount of X dollars. It's time to put a stop to people nickel and diming the trust for things like car payments on vehicles they can't afford in the first place. Also, all payments will now be made directly to the creditor, no more writing out checks to individuals. People behave very differently when a bill is paid versus money put directly in their hands. Not the asshole, he's burned his bridges with you by trying to scam the trust into paying for the truck, forgot about him and enjoy your winnings. NTA, his own father agrees with you. Not the asshole, and if it were me I'd remove the aunt's access as well. Not the asshole. Cut out the people siding with him too.